We call it premarital down here, prenuptial, even pre-dating or whatever the case, pre-commitment. That is a field that I wish more people would pay attention to, and again, they can do it themselves. Florida has a high percentage of retirees, many of which are widowed or divorced. They come down here with considerable assets. They may buy a condo, they may have had businesses up north or wherever they're from, and from Canada or what have you. And they meet and fall in love, and God bless them. I mean, we hope we all fall in love someday, maybe many times in our lifetime. They should be concerned, these people, when they meet someone, do they want me or do they want my money? I mean, we tend to wear our money a lot. Now, when I work, you can see today I wear no jewelry, and I typically don't. I own a fair amount of it, but I don't wear it. But when you go out and you're single, you're going to wear your rings and your earrings or whatever, and guys wear the nice big gold chains. So you're advertising the fact that you have money, and so you meet someone in a bar, you meet them at a church social, and you say, well, yeah, I used to be in business, and I had my own business. And you fall in love and you get married, and the next thing you know, the guy has really 3 other wives, or he's had criminal histories, or he's ripped people off for years. And it's a sad, sad case. It takes something beautiful like love and makes it very, very tragic.
Well, prenuptial is somebody, for an investigator, is checking out somebody prior to getting married. And we have, a lot of times, we have a husband, not a husband, but a boyfriend coming and want to check out his girlfriend, or a girlfriend, vice versa, want to check out the boyfriend. Say, for instance, she sees the guy 3 nights a week. What does he do the other 4 nights? So they want an investigation done. She wants to know if the guy's married, got 10 kids hidden in the back closet somewhere, or was he married, or is he financially, how well off is he, before she gets involved. With AIDS out right now, she wants to find out about, make sure he doesn't, promiscuous, running around with different women, playing around.
Not available on weekends. She's never met his family. He only has a telephone in his car. He has no home telephone. She doesn't know where he lives. It's a relationship that's very one-sided. He does the dictating. Well, I'll come to your place. It'll be a very one-sided type of relationship, and she senses this. She'll sense it, and they've told me, I don't know why I haven't met his family. We've been dating for a year. He talks about marriage. It's interesting how very often in the Washington area, one of the little telltale signs will be the fiance or the boyfriend will say, well, I'm not available right now because I'm doing undercover work for the government. That's the big lie. That is the big lie here in Washington, D.C. Undercover work for the government, CIA, FBI.
If the guy, the girl calls his house or his apartment and he's not there, and there's always question when he calls, well, I had the machine on, I was in the shower, I was sleeping, Any gut feeling they get ought to be checked out. You'd rather be safe than sorry.
Just try very much to get involved in his life. You'll know after a while whether somebody is being truthful with you or not. And you might confront, you might just question directly. And I think if somebody's too evasive about it, doesn't give you a good answer, you're going to get a feeling about it.
Well, you said if your daughter's going out with this fella, I'm sure he's going to tell her where he grew up. She can ask him, where did you live? What street? What city? It doesn't have to be the exact street. If you know the city or county, that's really all you need to know. And his full name, if he's telling you the truth.
But really, try to get as involved in his life as you possibly can. And if he won't let you get involved, that's very, very telling.
But if you feel there's something wrong, I can almost assure you that there is. All right? Your instincts are 100% right.
And I always say, when they come in and they start telling me what's going on, I ask them, tell me the pattern about the guy. Tell me what he's doing. Tell me what his lifestyle is normally. And, if she only sees the guy, say she sees him 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week, and they physically only get involved 1 night a week, if he's a young man, there's a good chance that he's maybe doing something else, spreading it around sort of.
Where are you from? What did you do how long have you been an attorney? Where did you go to school? Were you married before? And then the daughter will say, Mother, as usual. But these questions should be asked. and everybody should be checked out. You can't take people for face value anymore. We have too much disease going around. AIDS. We have people that are hitting people up for money in these hard times. So everybody should be checked out.
And it will always depend on how far back you want to go to find out what you want to know. If you're uncomfortable with the individual because you think your daughter's marrying this individual who is interested in the money, you're probably right. How far back you want to go is you need some documentation on things that he has either stated or said and or are official somehow, and that he supposedly graduated from this school, etc.
Schooling, okay. If somebody said they graduated from Harvard, it's very easy to call up the registrar's office. As a person in the street, you don't have to be a private investigator to get and to verify that information. A lot of people exaggerate their school background or what school they went to. This is one of the easiest things to find out, really.
His educational background. Well, if he tells you where he went to school, you can call the registrar's office, find out or you can call student records, and you can ask them for that, and they'll tell you what year he graduated. And
you can find out who his first grade teacher is if you want to go back that far, but you really don't have to.
What premarital work does with a PI, what premarital work can be for anyone, is a basic background investigation. Is this person truly divorced as they say they are, or truly widowed? I mean, that's probate records. That's civil court records of divorces. Is this person from where they say they're from? Are they really from Virginia? Have they spent their whole life there? Call up county court records if they own property there. That is public record. Is this person really in this business? Are they really a CPA? Call up the accountancy board. Every state has an accountancy board and ask them, is this individual really a CPA? If you start getting a lot of negatives to these questions, let him pay for your drink, but don't marry him.
if he's a bigamist, there's an easy way to check him out. Not saying that you're always going to find it, but there's a good way to try. Find out where he lives, where he had lived in the last couple of years. Go to the courthouse, see if there's a marriage record on file. Could have got married south of the border, so that makes it tough. But if he got married in the area or another state or county, you get his previous addresses and check out marriage records in those counties and also divorce records. You just want to know. And you can do that on the phone. Most places will do it on the phone, or most places will do it in writing. You can find out what information you need. They'll tell you the some states you need both names, or some counties. What you do is you give his full name, possible year of marriage if you can get it, and sometimes they'll check just by name. If they have 3 Joe Johnsons, they'll tell you, and you pay for the information, but you can get it.
I have done premarital work where we have seen bigamous situations, yes. Again, a very simple records check, a marriage check. Did the divorce actually go through? This is not to say there are certain people who are right at the end of a divorce and they fall in love again, and perhaps the papers were not filed properly. I'm not talking about an error by the court clerk. I'm talking about someone who deliberately goes to deceive. Yes, we've had a few of those. They tend to be people who come from a very, very distant state. Here in Florida, they'll be from, I don't want to Nevada or anything, but they tend to be from Nevada, or they tend to be from about as far away as you could possibly get. Frequently, even they say, I'm from out of the country. They'll be very sketchy on their background. They'll be very sketchy on their family. They won't go into details. It's general. Well, you really don't want to hear about that. You really don't want to know about that. It was a tragic death that my wife had. She's not dead. She's alive. It's tragic, but she's not dead.
Was he married before and had the girlfriends? That's something to know. You might want to contact the ex-wife and see what kind, if he was married. Divorce records. Find out where he got divorced. Pull up the records. You'll find her name. Look her up in town and give her a call.
Well, if we were going to do a background on someone, we might want to do, here we have divorce records and marriage records. Very important if you're doing a premarital investigation. If the individual is claiming that they have never been married before, but you've never been to their house, and yes, this is this happens quite a lot. They always make excuses to come to your house instead, and they never are able to stay with you very long, or all of a sudden on a weekend they're able to stay with you, but that's it. I would highly recommend you do a divorce search. Now, they can be conducted in most states throughout the United States, or on a county level. You can do it in the county if you know the county that they reside in.
Went to a couple of years ago, short Warsaw. We went to a Christmas party. Everybody's standing around talking, and somebody says to me, "Well, I really want to get married, but I got this marriage certificate and one thing or another." And I said to him, "Well, you know, I want to get married. My wife and I can marry. How we can marry anytime you want to." 10 minutes later, we had a marriage ceremony going at this Christmas party down in Vero Beach. After the thing was over with, I looked at the marriage certificate or application, and I noticed that the girl had been married 5 times before. And I said to her, without pointing to that specific number, I said to her, and she's only about 35 years old, I said, "Are you sure that everything on here is correct? Because once I sign it, it's history. It's official record." And she looked at it and she said, "Yes, it was." 2 months later, I saw her at a mall. I said, "How is her husband?" She said, "What husband?" She's already getting rid of him and going for number 6.
But as for background, what you could do is go to court, and go to the court, you know, those records are available to the public, and check records in the courthouse. You might find that the guy's been married 4 or 5 times. You might find that he's involved in a lot of litigation. The courthouse is a wonderful source of information, you know, for people, and you would use the local courthouse.
Say a girl's dating a guy and all of a sudden he drives a little erratic, and she says, "Well, I'd like to find out about him." She can get a 5-year or 7-year or a 15-year driving history on this person, and she don't have to be an investigator to do that. And that record would tell his whole driving history. She'd find out a lot about him from that, all the DUIs and all that.
Get the tag number on his car, number one. Get a full name. Try to get a date of birth.
Driving records, find out if the person is a habitual traffic offender. Do they get in a lot of accidents? Do they have any DUI charges? Criminal history records. Have they ever been arrested for anything?
Well, in order to check criminal records, I said we'll just back that up again and go back to his old addresses. Could have been a local address, all his previous addresses. You got to hit that county or city.